Welcome to the Peter Joe Podcast, where we talk about everything from life and mental health to entertainment and passing current events. Thank you for joining us. Let's begin, my fellow Peters.
Hey. Welcome back, fellow Peters. This will probably be my most controversial episode to date, but I feel passionate about this subject. I always have. I don't like where this is heading with the adverse effects of the industry of what I'm about to talk about. So, to start off, I love video games. I've mentioned this in the previous episodes. I grew up with video games. And I've played them, and guess what? I've always been a good person. I haven't been violent. I haven't gone out and done violent shit. So with that being said, it's video games to me they're a great escape. The perfect roller coaster for adults and kids' emotions alike. So I will personally defend the good of video games until I perish. There's so many good things about it. Of course there's bad things. There's bad things and good things with everything. I'm just sick and tired of video games being the main thing to blame for these mass tragedies, these mass shootings, these school shootings. It started with Columbine and it continues today. So with this episode, I just want to go over the factors that are just as much to blame, if not more, than just video games. So, I was on a site earlier today, and Villanova University, they did a survey a couple years back that proved more people blame video games on school shootings than anything else. Now, this is where it's going to get a little touchy because I understand there are tons of violent video games out there right now. Like, for instance, Grand Theft Auto, which has senseless violence. I get that. Some first-person shooter games. But there is I could say it this way, there is definitely way more realistic and more violent games now than there was when I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. And like I said, they look way better graphically nowadays, I get that. But, and this is a big but, anyone with a normal functioning brain knows the difference between a game and real life, okay? The problem is, as a parent, I feel like I need to speak to all the fellow parents. If you pay attention to your kid or kids and they are showing some mental instability, like a very clear instability, then in no way, shape, or form should you introduce them or allow them to play violent video games. Games with guns, knives, etc. Don't let them play it. If you see this mental instability and you worry that it's going to poison their mind. And if you think they can't distinguish between real and fake, then don't let them play it. Don't buy the game. This is part of our job as parents. We need to realize any mental instabilities in our kids, and we need to try and get them help. I get it. We all have busy schedules. We can't always be at the doctor for the kids. I get that. But if it's really bad, we have to look into it as parents. Something we need to do, because that'll cut out violence everywhere. Pretty much most of these shooters and people that go on these rampages, they have known mental issues that were not dealt with, or they weren't dealt with enough, or not enough people gave a shit. Or it was just plain overlooked. Like a doctor would say, oh, next patient, I have to get my patients in so I can leave for the day. Like, this has been missed everywhere. It's been missed by professionals. It's been missed by teachers. It's been missed by parents. It's been missed by health professionals. It's been missed by friends of these, I don't want to say disgusting humans because a lot of them do have mental problems, but the friends of these sick people have missed it too, or they just didn't take it seriously. So this is not just potentially the parents' fault in some cases, but it's also, like I said, the doctors for not taking shit serious enough. There's definitely a disconnect somewhere here. It's not just video games. Like, how can we only blame video games when the gaming companies clearly put their age limits on the case of the games? If you see that big letter M, then don't buy the damn game for your younger kids. Wait until they're 16, 17. You know? Because some kids, yeah, they just can't handle it. I also know nowadays that a lot of the games are bought as digital content, like through the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Nintendo, the PC. But that's actually, to me, that's an easier fix to control what your kids can and can't play, or what they could buy. You could, I could go on my Xbox right now. I've done it already with my kids, and I could put a passcode in that if they're trying to buy some game on my credit card or my bank card, if the rating is too high for their age, I could block it or just not give them the password. That way I see what they're buying. Like, I have to actually give them the final say in the buying of the game. You could also put a ratings lock on the system. I know Nintendo does this because we had a Nintendo Switch. You could basically put a ratings thing, like they can't play over this age limit. And it's a great thing that these video game companies do. And this is what I mean when I say you can't just blame video games. They put up these safety features to keep the games out of the hands of the wrong crowd. If these companies didn't give a fuck, then they'd just be handing them out to kids with no precautions. They would put no sticker on the game. So how about us as parents? All the doctors out there, why can't we just work on this as a team? I've worked in plenty of jobs in my life where the constant emphasis is on teamwork. This should go with social life. This should go with mental health. We need to be a team. Nobody can do this shit solo. We can cut down the numbers of mass shootings and school shootings and violent attacks just by keeping a good eye on our little ones. We obviously can't completely stop these attacks. It's the same argument with stopping terrorism. Like, you can't stop every attack. There's copycat kids and adults out there everywhere. But what we could do is just work as a team. If you're just walking by somebody, okay, you may not know these people or a person, and they throw out some fucking threat about attacking somebody or attacking a group of people or planning something, you have to fucking report it. You have to. As a human being, you have to report it. I don't care if they're your friend. I don't care if they're a family member. If they're talking about doing bad shit, you have to report them. We shouldn't just act like the person or people are joking. Threats, even if they sound like a joke, they should still be taken 100% seriously. In so many cases, we hear, after the attack, we hear friends or family saying, so-and-so saying they heard signs or saw signs, but they sang it after the fact. There's already innocent people that are either dead or very injured, and you bring this up after the fact. Like, what is that going to do? It does nothing at that point. You have to report it before, report it at the time. It's unreal to me, because a lot of this stuff could have been stopped. It could have been stopped ahead of time. But no, we want to move on with our lives. We want to act like everything's a joke when it's not. Like I said, I've been playing video games since I was a kid. I know plenty of people that I grew up with. When we were friends and we were younger, we played video games together. None of us are going out and shooting innocent people. So this is my stance. I'm sticking by it. I'm not going to change it unless these fucking statistics come out that prove me wrong. But they're not going off statistics other than the people they interview. These polls, they're not providing any statistics. A lot of people just don't like video games. They feel like that's the easy way out, is to blame it. And I get in some cases you could blame video games, but it shouldn't get all the fault. There's other factors. I mean, we talked about it. Mental health, mental issues. To me, those things are more of an issue than clearly kids playing a fake video game, which they know is not real. With all this being said, I'm sure I'll have people disagreeing with me, and I welcome that. I mean, you have opinion, you have an opinion, I have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. But if you can come at me with some hard evidence, I'll gladly listen, believe me. I'm not the type that'll not listen to facts. Like, facts do mean something. If my opinion angers you, like I said, then give me the reasons I'm wrong, and I'll listen. This is my opinion. I'm sticking to it for now. I've thought about it since Columbine in 1999. I was 15 when that happened. I was in school when it happened. And even now, having kids in elementary and middle school, this worries me. Every time I hear a police siren or an ambulance go by my house, like, I get freaked the fuck out because I worry so much for my kids. I know that there's unstable kids out there going to the same school as my kids, and like, bullying is at an all-time high. It's just the world we live in. But we could be a team. We could report shit before the action happens, before the violence happens. And I'm going to continue to let my kids play games as long as it's their age range and they're playing creative games that use all of their brain. Because there's a lot of really good games out there. I can name a few. Minecraft. The kids just go on there and they build like these cool little houses and worlds, and there's no violence in it. It's completely cartoonish looking, and it just opens up the mind for kids. And that's one game right there. But there's other games, like they have all these simulators, like where you could simulate being a doctor. You could simulate being like Sims. You could simulate building houses and being an interior designer. Like, there's good games out there, believe me. You just got to choose the right ones. You got to make sure your child is stable, mentally stable, and not showing any crazy signs. And just buy the games for their age range. And that'll go so far. And then we won't have to sit here and blame video games all the time. Yeah, that's my piece. That's my 2 cents. If you have any opposing comments, you could comment in the comment section below for any of the apps that you're listening on. So thank you for listening, my fellow Pitas. You know how it goes. Stay positive, stay hopeful, stay positively hopeful. All right, goodbye. Thank you for listening in, my fellow Pitas. Follow me on Facebook at Pita Joe Podcast, all lowercase, no spaces. Instagram, Pita, Joe, Podcast, all lowercase letters. And on Twitter, at Pita Joe Podcast, all capitals. Like and subscribe on all the apps the Pita Joe Podcast is streaming on, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Apple, Google Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Samsung, TuneIn, Player FM, and last but not least, Podchaser. Thank you.